Good morning, guys. It's Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft. I got an email asking me about what I carry in my cook kit, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to explain a few little things about field kits, mess kits, and etc. Okay, let's start with the basic concept of what you need. Now, with most modern backpacking, etc., dehydrated food, all we're doing is boiling water. So, my billy can, like you've seen in several of my videos, is my favorite cook thing. This and my canteen cup. Predominantly when I'm traveling, what I'm going to do is be heating up something, ready-made food, or I'm going to be boiling water to make hot chocolate, something that's made with water. The billy can does a good job. Now this one is a modification of a Civil War corn boiler. Now it originally had a big old handle right here and a hinge, and this opened like a tankard or something like that. I took all that off because I like to be able to take the lid completely off. Now this is heavy gauge stainless and does a really good job. I've had it for many years, and it's my favorite, toting billy can. Now, for a little more elaborate, I have modern cook sets. Now these are, commercially produced little pot bowls with these folding handles. They call that a skillet, and a pretty good sized pot, and the lids will interchange. You know what these are. They're everywhere. Usually I don't carry these unless I'm planning on actually cooking out there, and then you got to carry ingredients and stuff like that. Squishy bowls are readily available, and I like them, but to be honest with you, they just aren't firm enough for me. When you got something hot in it, it's not bad on the hand, but at the same time, I just don't have a lot of confidence in something that's going to collapse easy. I don't use them that much, not as much as I should, but I'm old school. I'll admit that in a heartbeat. Now, something I have been impressed with is this. This is a Folda cup. I got it from a vendor at a gun show. This is the big cup, and I like it better than I do the squishy bowl. It's made in Switzerland. It's called Folda cup, the original big cup, made in Sweden. And quite often the Swiss mess kits come with a version of this. This is the bowl configuration, and I like it for having in the field, especially for hot chocolate, soup, cereal, oatmeal for breakfast, things like that. It's one of my favorites. Now, these are cook kits. This is a U.S. Army cook kit. Now, a cook kit is designed so that soldiers in the field, nice big frying pan, and two pots with handles, are able to take readily procured food. They're in the field, boil it up, potatoes, whatever they can get, be issued, whatever. That's what, this is designed for. And this is my cook set. I like to take it camping on big trips or when I'm trying to cook for several people. Now, these that we're all aware of are not actually cook kits. They're mess kits. And there's a difference. Now, let me explain. Most of this stuff all derives from the military type idea. So, in an army, in the field, at a base, you have a mess hall. When you go out into forward bases, you have a mess tent where the troops file through for their meals. When the troops are in combat, theoretically, the mess units are supposed to put the food into these big thermo containers, and they're brought out to the field, and behind the lines they arrange a place for the troops to rotate through to get one hot meal a day at least, sometimes two. When they can't do that, that's when they're supposed to rely on MREs or like that, or years ago, C rations, stuff like that. So we're all familiar with those square cafeteria trays that's got all the compartments. That was a mess tray. That was for the bases and stuff like that. But they also issued a mess kit for the individual soldier. Now this was opened up. This little metal loop on the end, threaded back over the handle, like that. Took your thumb, held it like this. Now you went through the chow line and they slapped your food in here. They gave you these spoons, forks, etc. to eat with, and you ate out of it. Now this could also be used as a little fry pan. You can also, oh, I'm making a lot of racket. You could also put bread or etc. in here, turn this upside down, put coals from a fire on it and bake in it. You can seal it up and steam with it. There's lots of stuff you can do with it, but this is a actual mess kit. It's basically your dinner plate. Now, I know there's a ton of GIs out there with stores, and you go on the web, you'll find lots of times where this is being used as a cook set to cook the meals and etc. And it does an okay job, but it was designed to be a mess kit. That's a cook set. This is a mess kit. Okay? Now we come to the Rodney Dangerfield of camping sets. This one. I know everybody started out with Boy Scout kit. I decided to do a little bit of research. I got thinking, the one I had was horrible when I was a kid. The thin aluminum was terrible. I mean, you go to cook something, you just scorched it, and you burned up your food, or it stuck, or it was hard to clean, or it was just a nightmare. And not long ago, someone asked me a question about what they thought about it and etc. And I decided to, be out my honest opinion and etc. And everybody I'd ever talked to about it rarely had anything good to say about this kit. So why is it held on so long in Boy Scouts? Now, when I say so long, when I did a little research, I found out that this configuration in almost the same goes all the way back before 1915. This was the Boy Scout kit. I cannot find in my research when they ever issued anything but this. Now, knowing that the Boy Scouts originated as an offshoot of a military thing, there was a siege in a British town in Africa during the Boer War, and the boys were pressed into service as message runners and stuff like that. That would later become the Boy Scouts. And knowing that the Boy Scouts were led early on by military commanders, and that it was seen as a sort of preparation for later military service in the British Empire, it would make sense that this was like a military mess kit. Now, wouldn't it? So I got to thinking about it and looking at it. These funny little holes right here in the handle, those teardrop cutouts, they're all the way back to the beginning. Originally, this was a steel frying pan and a tin plate and other components. So I decided to do a little research and looked at it. The bowl, the frying pan, which is called a plate actually, the little pot, and I bought an additional hobo kit that goes with it, and the cup. The cup's got measuring marks in it. Now, this is quite often called the soup pot. It does an okay job for that, but upon doing a little bit of research, references, letters, things like that of the old scouts and stuff from years and years ago when scouting was serious, living off the land type deal, I began to figure out what this was really for. Now, we think of it like this in the frying pan configuration. You take the wing nut off. It's using a wing nut, not a rivet. You take the handle and you turn it over. Actually, you bring it from the below, because there's two divots and two divots on the handle that will lock together from the bottom, locking it in place rigid. Okay? Now, remember them funny teardrop cutouts? The original spoons and forks had a little divot that sat up there and dropped into place like this. Slid it up in, rotated it down, slid it up in, rotated it down, it locked in place. And then the plate went in like that. You held on to this, which was going to be the utensil you weren't planning on using to eat with, and hooked your thumb over there. That's how you went through the chow line. There's your eating utensil right there so you could eat with. So that boys could be run through a chow line just like military troops, and you could get 200 or 300 boys through a chow line, let them sit down and eat. Now, this little pot, that's what your drink went in. You went up and it was filled full of soup, because a lot of times they ate their meals and instead of drinking water, tea, or whatever, they drank something like chicken soup or something. Or coffee. You got coffee in it. This is a 1 cup, 1 measuring cup. We think of it as very small. It is. This is a 3 to 4 cup pot. You normally drink 3 or 4 of these with a meal. There's your refills. Makes sense, don't it? You know, this set gets no respect. And as a cook set, it's kind of abysmal. But as a mess kit for putting one per person in a camping rig so that whenever you're serving out food, it's not a bad idea. Well, I hope this kind of clarifies the water a little bit for you. In modern times, we use, synthetics, stainless, little cook sets, and they do a really, really good job. These old school things served a good purpose. Still do. I like them. I enjoy them. The Boy Scout kit is a really, really good mess kit. It's not a good cook set. This is a decent cook set and an okay mess kit. Find out what your needs are and then appropriate the proper gear for it. If all you're going to be doing is heating water and using dehydrated stuff or immersion heating or something like that, just a billy can. Billy can and a canteen cup does 99% of what I want. The rest, like if I've got meat or something, I make shish kebabs or skewers and hook them up over a fire. I can do fruits and vegetables that way as well. I've learned how to cook and bake without utensils in the coals for many different things, like ash cake and stuff like that. So your cook set should reflect what your cooking needs are. Don't tote a big bow-hunking hunk of steel if you're not going to use it for that configuration. Now, if I'm going to be frying fish, we're going to be canoeing and I'm going to be frying fish for me, not for the group, but just for me. It's good fry pan for fish. If I'm going to be going for a family outing, I'll tote this, or I'll tote a bigger kit that's actually got skillets and stuff in it, so I can cook for the family at large. More convenient. Adjust for your situation and, adapt. Best I can tell you. Okay, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed making it. Please leave comments, ratings, whatever you like. I love to hear from you. I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft. Wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.